everybody. Sorry if you do hear a fan in the background. That is because my room is very hot in the summertime and I need a fan to cool it off. So it's probably going to be in the background of this video. But currently today, we have a lot to talk about. We have a significant weather day coming up tomorrow. Widespread severe weather seems likely across the northern plains, high plains area. But today in Montana and Canada, it looks like severe weather will be a possibility, along with heavy rain across portions of the south and widespread thunderstorms across the central U.S. On day 2, we are expecting pretty widespread severe weather and again a lot of flash flooding. And today we actually have a high risk of flash flooding, which we will go into. And on day 3, we have another flash flooding zone and potential for some isolated severe weather in here. Now moving on to surface analysis currently. We currently have a dry line in place across the central plains right here. We have a new low pressure system here that is expected to lift northward, providing a severe weather threat for today. And the main severe weather zone for today will be probably in here. About 24 hours ago from this point. So about 12 hours ago now, we were dealing with elevated severe weather across portions of Montana and North Dakota because a front passed through when it wasn't supposed to. Across South Dakota, we ended up having a tornado last night. I'm not really sure the details on that. We also had tornadoes in Indiana last night, potentially one in Illinois, Kentucky area. We also had one in Mississippi, and we potentially had some in Texas as well. I'll go pull up the reports from the last few days. Current front map here, right now. 18Z, we're expecting we have a boundary here that's going to spark off a heightened risk of flash flooding and severe and strong storms. Around 18Z, we may see a severe weather threat start to pick up across portions of Montana and Idaho, maybe. Likely around 0Z, that threat will be somewhat high. We will see potential for an isolated severe storm on the dry line in Texas if that cap can break. 6Z, we still could have severe weather going on. 12Z, it's likely going to stop. 0Z on Friday, we're likely either to see an arc of supercells down this dry line warm front, or we're going to see a big old squall line and maybe even a long-lived MCS. We'll have to see. At this point, the MCS should be ongoing, but it probably will be weakening. That'll set off alpha boundaries for that severe weather day. It looks like severe weather will be possible Saturday across portions of Wisconsin, Iowa, Indiana, Kentucky maybe, Missouri, and Arkansas. We'll have to wait for further details on that. Sunday, maybe we could see severe weather across portions of the mid-Atlantic and Ohio Valley, so like Ohio, PA, West Virginia. Just looking at the front, we'll look at that later. Monday, maybe severe weather across the Northeast, and then Tuesday and Wednesday it looks pretty quiet except across the southern United States. Areas that will likely be seeing heavy rain throughout the next 7 days, that's going to be portions of the high plains up here, and just portions east of Michigan, really. Like, this area is going to be getting battered with heavy rainfall, especially portions of Arkansas. Excessive rain today is a high risk across Mississippi and Arkansas. That area has been pummeled. Tomorrow a slight, and then another slight. So we're on to the Storm Prediction Center's page. We have a slight risk today and a couple marginals. We have a 2% tornado risk, 15 wind, and a 15 hail. We also have a 5 hail and 5 wind for Minnesota, Texas, and Oklahoma. For our day 2, we have an enhanced risk for severe weather. It might go moderate for wind or hail, and we might see a 10 sig happen for tornadoes. We'll have to see. Currently, we have a 5% tornado risk. This includes portions of Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming. We have a 2% surrounding that. A 30% significant wind risk is present. The significant areas, some of the areas include Rapid City, Dickinson, Spearfish, Rapid City, Wise Rapid City twice, Sturgis, We also have Glasgow and the significant risk as well. For the large hail, we have a 30% significant risk there, and a lot more people are in the significant risk. On day 3, we have a small little marginal across portions of Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, and Missouri. Looks like the main threats are going to be damaging wind gusts. And then with that day 4-3 outlook, it's just predictability too low. We do have potential for some severe weather though on day 4 across the Mississippi River Valley. Let's go on to the wrap. Let me go into Call of Duty page with the wrap because it's better on there. I'll load up other models on Pivotal Story. I should put it Call of Duty ahead of time, but we're at the wrap model here. We're gonna look at that 9Z run as that actually goes out longer. Excuse me. We're gonna look at our surface dew points first off and just observe them. So today across portions of northern Montana, we could get surface dew points in the 60s to 50s. That's just fine for over there. That area doesn't usually, that area, you don't need as much dew points as you need across the northern plains per se. So around peak heating, we could definitely see that around 1Z there, which is probably, I think, 3 or 4. No, it's not 3 or 4. It's probably 5 or 6 o'clock there. We have sufficient dew points. Enough. Even if we had 50s, you would still get severe storms and maybe a tornado. But we do have those dew points. We'll stop at an hour 17 here. To get an idea, let's look at our mixed layer capping and mixed layer cape. So at this point, we do have mixed layer cape around 1,500. It is relatively capped, but still not bad. We also have some relative felicity across the area with 500, so that'll do some things. We have 3 cape across that area of around 12, which isn't really that much, but. And at that time, we also do have a couple individual storms that form right in our ingredients max. So we can check that out there and check it sounding. We also have a couple surface flows in observer 1 here and here. There's a sounding, and you can see here with this sounding, it is 2 capped. We're going to get another sounding here, but that sounding is just 2 capped. It's only a hail throw with that one. You're not going to be able to break the cap either. That would be a good profile if it wasn't capped. This profile is not capped much at all, and that's not a terrible profile for this area. 58 on 82 though will cause problems with elevation, so you might get more elevated storms, but that doesn't, or more high base storms, which probably always go in this area. That doesn't mean you can't get a tornado though. You do have downdraft keep of 1,200 once they score upscale. 3 keep is rather minuscule, but that's the whole event. Decent looking photograph there. Also some good cape in the surface. Mixed layer not good, but decent enough. The wind shear is very nice, especially above 3 kilometers, which this area starts off at like 3 kilometers. So you won't be anything above here. You won't is gonna be where you use, and the winds aren't terribly bad. Actually, meaning above probably right here. So everything won't be terribly black, and it's going to be rather low top. Looks like that's gonna be interesting. But yeah, there's definitely super potential. Look at that low-level jet streak, and we only have like 23 knots, which isn't great, but we do have that 500 millibar trough that is ejecting across this area. Not really ejecting, but it is moving across this area. It's likely going to eject across the plains the next day. Let's take a look at that. Let's look at hour 41, and boom, that trough kind of delays itself with the wrap. It doesn't show it ejecting right away. There is still enough 500 millibar wind shear in this area, but not as much as there could be. If you look at that, a 50 millibar wind shear on the other hand, though, it's a lot, and that'll support severe weather for sure. On your surface dew points, they're up into the 60s and 70s, and if you look at that vorticity, you'll have a vorticity max across eastern Montana and then into portions of central North Dakota. Let's take a sounding in this vorticity max and just get. Also, let's look at that convection we have at this point. Looks like we do end up getting a few storms to fire along that dry line at that point, and then that Vorp Max, we actually do have a pretty decent sounding. Now it is relatively capped at the surface there, but that'll do. That's a really nice photograph. Let's take a look at northwestern North Dakota at those storms. Actually, we can zoom in. Oh, that's a GFS sounding for 111 hours out. Let me guess, it's in the Ohio Valley. Um, so here's a sounding like right here in northeastern North Dakota, right in front of those storms. Let's just see what we get. Um, so definitely a very favorable environment with this sounding here. That's gonna have potential for tornadoes, maybe a stronger one or two. Very large to giant hail, and significant wind gusts as well. Take a look at that area again. My goodness. That when that low level jet kicks in, whew, that is a hot photograph. That is a very, very supportive photograph for tornadoes right there. Chasers love to see that. And a lot of instability too. Chasers love that. We're gonna also look at the instability though at the 2Z at this point. We'll look at it at this point. Not MU sucks. We'll look at Mixler. So we have around 4,000 Mixler Cape. Now this is relatively capped at this point, not multiply, but there. We also have a lot of Felicity across the plains at this point. We have a decent amount of Theta E too across portions of this area. Now we're gonna move on to the next day, across the Midwest, and the NAM is actually still loading. We're gonna look at Saturday at 18Z. I probably made this video a little bit too early, and we'll deal with it. Looks like Canada might see severe weather with that drop. My goodness. But from what I'm seeing here, it looks like the Midwest is staged to have severe weather. We have a lot of instability in place, along with some amounts of wind shear. Especially, we do have a little bit of 500 poking in there. We have not really much 850 that went up into Canada, but I could definitely see potential. We don't really have much 200 millibar, but wind shear will be a problem. But if we do take some soundings across central Illinois there, lots of instability, but not at great wind shear. All I can see this doing is supporting some pretty significant damaging wind gusts, and that's about it. And some large hail too. Lapse rates are decent across this area. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Looks like your bulk shear really isn't great, except if you're in like Iowa, and that's behind the front. Maybe the Northeast will get something too. Now, let's take a look at the 60 GFS. See what it shows. So with the 60 GFS, it ends up putting out a cold front down into the Ohio Valley there. That might be something for the Northeast. We might get a severe risk in the Northeast. Let's just take a sounding. Not terrible, but it's too capped, has no stability. Let's just assume the Northeast. It's already zoned in and looking at it at hour 111, so it's really... So at this point, let's look at this. Let's look at these sounds here. Not terrible, but not great. Let's just find the instability here. So the instability is across one of these areas. Kind of a little bit contaminated with that one, thus on terrible tornado sounding. Mainly, probably. Okay, that's a really nice sounding right there. That's in northern Connecticut right there. So that's a pretty good sounding. We're gonna look at other models though. Only problem is you don't have that great of instability. Some other models though. We'll look at the European. So the European wants this out further to the west. This probably means severe weather great thing. Yeah, there's some decent. It's not terrible. It also wants the instability axis level. storms there. Okay, yeah. Pretty similar profiles to the GFS, except it doesn't want to share it as much and it needs more stability. So it looks like on Sunday there could be multiple rounds of severe weather across portions of the Northeast. Um, Looks like the main threats would be wind and maybe I'd say alt hazards would be at play if this does come out to be true. Don't be hyped up with these people. This probably will bust because it is the Northeast. But I mean, some really nice photographs here, but there's just no instability. Again, a really nice photograph. Not really nice, but nice one for the Northeast. And I accidentally clicked onto satellite, but let's take a look at the Canadian. Canadian really doesn't want this threat at all. It has the moisture in like this area, and it wants it further to the east, I guess. Yep, exactly. Or west, excuse me. We're gonna check that threat for Wednesday. I think it is not Wednesday. Friday? No, Saturday. Yeah, Friday. Thursday. No, Friday. I can't speak. So it looks like the NAM wants some thunderstorm activity across portions of Nebraska. And looking at the sounding, the wind barbs are just so wonky, and there's so many loops on the holograph that you're just gonna get splitting storms with this. A lot of splitting storms too. So it looks like there's gonna be a very low tornado threat with this event right here. Very low. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, overall, this is a very low tornado event. This is a very low tornado threat situation. Might get like a significant damage in this segment, though, potentially. We'll see. It's not terrible for damaging wind gusts. Lots of instability, too. Looks like there's some back surface winds, though, so you probably could get supercells, but they're going to split. We might see a slight risk eventually with this event, though, the way it's looking to set up here. Now, at least at 3Z, the shear says no more, so interesting. Here's the H ref. This is the 0-0 from last night. It ends up showing, and these are ensembles by the way too, and they end up actually showing a pretty significant environment there in northwestern North Dakota and portions of northeastern Montana, down in the South Dakota. They actually end up showing nearly 400 storm velocity at 0 to 3 kilometers. If you want to look at the surface base Cape, so here's the surface base Cape mean, or max. This is actually the max. So the max wants around 5,000 joules per kilogram across portions of North Dakota. Let's take the mean. So the mean wants 1,500 to 3,000 joules per kilogram across the area, and the minimum wants less than that. Personally, I think the maximum solution actually could play out. It's probably like one of the maximum solution definitely could play out with this one. But for now, probably only going to be just going to be about. Let's take a look at. Look at the mean 500 millibar. So the mean 500 millibar, it wants 40 to 50 knots across the area. Not bad. It's pretty decent. Let's go take a look at weather build though, and we're gonna go take a look at the Euro on here. So we're gonna take a look at the instantaneous flashing first off, because that's what we always look at here. Let's take a look at that. So this is seriously last night. So it looks like looks like it wants storms to fire around 21Z or so. Actually, some widespread activity across the Northern Plains too. Then it wants supercells and MCS to form across the plains. That's very fun. Instead MCS diving all the way down into Oklahoma, very unrealistic with that one there. Has another MCS diving into Illinois, that's very fun. And all the way down to the Gulf Coast. Nice one here. And some more MCS complexes. The Euro's just on that good stuff, man. Canada? Oh, I want to see this. This is in Illinois too. What? Oh my. Haha. Instability. Okay, but that's gonna do it for this one. Thanks for watching. If you do like this content, and if you do want to come back here sometime, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. And I probably will have an update on the severe weather tomorrow morning, just another FYI, unless things come up. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one.